I have a love-hate relationship with growing carrots. For one, they are so cheap to buy, it's really hard to justify giving up the space in our small garden to grow them. But on the other hand, they are such a satisfying crop to grow, not to mention the fun types that you can grow that you can't see in the shops. If you're new here, I'm Nikki and I'm on a mission to grow as much food as possible on our regular sized suburban block here in subtropical Australia. It's now carrot season for us here in subtropics, and I know it's a challenging one for people to grow, so I thought I would share with you some tips on how we grow carrots here. Now, probably the most common issue that I see with people growing carrots is that they're just not getting enough sunlight. And usually it's more to do with the neighbouring plants shading them than it has about choosing the location in your garden. I like to prioritise my full sun beds for my root crops, and you'll usually see me planting my carrots right on the edges. Any crops that I grow nearby need to be fast growing, like radish, lettuce, or Asian greens. In terms of soil prep, there's not a great deal you need to do. If you grow like me in raised beds with a lot of organic matter, growing carrots should be pretty simple. If, however, you are working with compacted soil with loads of rocks, you might struggle to find success. I'd suggest just adding more organic matter to your beds, perhaps even building it up in a lasagna style. In terms of amendments, aside from compost, I like to add a little bit of wood ash and bone meal into my beds. Carrots really need to be planted by seed, and essentially a carrot is just a big long taproot. So if you accidentally bend that root while transplanting, you're going to get wonky or twisted carrots. Unfortunately, this is probably the most challenging part that I find about carrots is getting them to germinate. So you cannot allow them to dry out, otherwise they just won't sprout. This can be hard when the weather is still quite warm. I usually cover my carrot seeds with a good quality seed raising mix that helps retain the moisture. I've also tried vermiculite. Sometimes I even cover with a piece of shade cloth, and I have heard of people just using a bit of timber to cover them to keep the soil nice and damp. I try to plant my carrots with the rain if I can. Failing that, leaving a watering can right next to the bed to remind me to keep them wet is a really good strategy. To plant my seeds, I just make a little channel and I usually fill it with a good quality seed raising mix. Then I sprinkle my seeds in quite densely, followed by a little bit of mycorrhizae to give my seed a bit of added boost. I then simply cover them lightly with some remaining seed raising mix. I think choosing variety is also really important. Some varieties of carrots do take a really long time. I like to choose the ones that are fast growing, like the short Karuta, the Paris Market, or a Scarlet Nantes. I like these ones as well because they are really bright in colour, which means if you're picking as baby carrots, they will be more vibrant. The other one we love to grow is a cosmic purple, which is purple on the outside and has rings of orange on the inside. After my seeds have germinated, because I have planted quite densely, I do a lot of thinning. So the first run of thinning I do when my seedlings are around 3 weeks old and have formed their first set of true leaves. I thin them out so they're around 2 centimeters apart, and I use scissors to do this. I don't waste the thinnings either. They make really nice salad toppings or on sandwiches. The second thinning I do is technically more baby carrot harvesting, where I pull every second one, and depending on the variety and how well they are growing, this is usually around the 8-week mark. This allows the remaining carrots to really stretch out and get big, and I get a decent feed of baby carrots in the process. In terms of special care and maintenance with carrots, I don't do a great deal. I generally don't treat them any differently from anything else I'm growing. I give them a regular seaweed emulsion feed as they grow, which is more of a tonic than a fertilizer. I do tend to lay off anything stronger than that though. So if you're using a high nitrogen fertilizer that is designed for growth, you might find that the carrots will focus more on leaf development rather than root development. To combat this, a really good strategy is to plant a row of lettuce or Asian greens nearby, and that can keep the soil in balance. So let's talk about some common issues. As I mentioned, if there are too many leaves and no roots, you might be fertilizing too much. This can also be attributed to not enough sun, which was the first thing that I brought up. Root knot nematodes can also be a pain. It is identified by these little nodules on the carrots, and generally it slows down the growth. They're tricky to get rid of once you have them, but loads of organic matter, biofumigation, cover crops, crop rotation, and working on improving your soil biology is your best option. If you've got splitting carrots, it's a sign of too much water, particularly when they're close to harvest time. Carrots that fork can be due to an obstacle in the way, but they can also do this if they're getting too much nitrogen. Carrots do love the cooler weather. They will be sweeter if it's colder, and they will often be a little more bitter or not as sweet if the weather is too hot. So that's why we usually save our carrot growing to over the cooler months, usually planting from anywhere between March and July. Anyway, I hope you find those tips for growing carrots helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.